you can't have one greater than the other, you know. But what is of most importance is obviously the mind, yeah. But they have to be obviously in sync. Yeah. But the mind obviously is the gateway to everything else. Yeah. You know what gets thrown into your head, or what you consume rather, will affect your body as well. You know. But at the end of the day, they should be in balance. Yeah, they should be in balance. Otherwise, there will be disparities in between.
You've just stepped into An Empty Street, a podcast where we casually engage in difficult conversations about relationships, wealth, and health. We are just three curious gentlemen who ask questions almost about everything, and our aim is to find answers from others and within ourselves. We sit down every week to explore unaltered conversations. So let's walk the talk together, and welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
In 3,
2,
1.
we're rolling.
Welcome to the Empty Street Podcast.
Another
We're back.
Another Tuesday.
Another week.
And we're coming live from Santon still. I think before we jump right into it, there's like a question that I've been meaning to ask, right? I was scrolling on my Instagram, and what I realized is that there's two types of people that we normally find on social media, right? There's people that are normally food lovers, like foodies, right?
Yeah.
And their content is just basically around just food and restaurants or the places they go out to, right? And then there's other people that are more psychological. You know? So their content is more mindful. It's all about the third eye or whatever the case is, and they just watch what they consume. You know? Sure. So my question then is, like, which one is more important? You know, the human body or the human mind? And then we can, based off your own thoughts, what do you think would be the most important, or you can't put one above the other? Do you think they need to be in balance?
Before, you know, there's a red button, you need to click it. Then there's a thumb, click that as well. Yeah, no, for me, I think both. I think both they should be balanced, because we have a mind and a body. We have them because if I another thing you see, umzimba palo wemphefumulo is nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So umphefumulo udinga umzimba khona ukuphila.
Yeah.
Now udinga ini ke, like nomzimba udinga umphefumulo uzokhona ukuphila. Same thing. If ana lento le lese njenge robot. Yabona? Robot udinga ukuthi ukhona ukucoder ukuze ukhona movement, right? Then that's why I must code it. Then uzoba ne brain. I-brain ile kodwa i-contain yonke ma-functionality akumele wenza, right? Same thing kanjalo ne-brain. I-brain enika i-body, i-meaning, i-movement, ikhona ukudla. Ukuze ukhona ukudla is because of the brain, right? I-brain esho because into ezibhazi isuka la uzusho ukuthi ulambile isukaphi noma thi umzimba wona, but there is a sensor that communicates with the brain. Sure. So i-communication, so I think they should be balanced. Yabona good when they show ukuthi umzimba wakho is healthy enough to make sure ukuthi even the communication, the body with the brain, yes, they work hand in hand. So if now you're healthy, your body is healthy and your mind is healthy, I think
everything works well. Now I think you're right with that, because like you can think about when you're depressed. You know, your mind is not in its normal state.
Sure.
Yeah, well, so that automatically feeds throughout your body. You know, and then now you either feel like you're drowning. You know, they sometimes say that it's a feeling like you feel like you're helpless. You know, you can't really control how you're feeling. However, if you were in a normal state of mind, then you'd know how to control even your body.
Yeah.
You know, you can get out of bed. You can actually feel, or you have that need of wanting to do stuff as compared to if you're depressed. Because if you're depressed, then the last thing you want to do is go outside and be with people.
Yeah.
And that's now out of your control.
Yeah.
That's no longer you being in control of your body or your mind. So yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, like having your mind and body being in sync.
Kunendenye ngicabanga uyimentionile now, talking about the social media. I don't know if maybe I'm pulling out the plug, but then talking about the social media now be a question on its own. If now we talk about the healthy, your brain and also the body, it's like it's watching out what you consume.
Yeah.
At the same time, what you consume, your brain is consuming, the body is consuming, right? So part of social media, we consume it. Now, is it healthy for the body and the mind? Because now if you are checking, let's say we so then you consume social media too much the way you consume alcohol.
Sure.
Then more khathala nomzimba ugcina sowuza so pain.
Yeah.
Yabona kukhona ukukhombisa ukuthi lezi zinto lezo zithu zasebenzisana. Anyeke ukuthi lay is important than this one. So if now you have to take care of this one, you have to take care of the other one. If then we don't do that, then it's a disaster.
Yeah.
So make sure you balance. If now you're saying ukuthi uyadla, if no not sidle manje siyadla izinto ozibona ukuthi as contributing ku healthy your body yethu. We're just consuming for the sake of simnandi. Yeah, that's why I was told sometimes it's chabinyana. But then at the end of the day into kanjalo ukuthi njenge social media izinto ezincane siyiconsume TikTok consume, right? And they share something, and my share whatever share yola, then in the contribution emzimbeni wakho. Right? That's why namanje uma ngathi ufuna ukujima kumona lesikhuluma sikhuluma ngehealthy ukuthi uma ngathi ufuna ukujima immediately if umzimba wakho umqondo wakho awutshela ukuthi ngiyafeel up
Uzovila
nomzimba already uyathola ufila le. So onke lawo ma sense communication. So uyayibona ukuthi if now you want to be healthy there, then your body is healthy. Energy isuka la.
You mentioned something about social media. Like another example is like at night when the lights are off and all you're doing is just consuming social media, right? What then tends to happen is you lose sleep because now your blue light has now affected you to the point where now you can't even fall asleep anymore, right? So now you're losing sleep, meaning fatigue. Fatigue is your whole body, you know. So it's already affecting now your whole body. Now you're an insomniac. Now it's 4 a.m. 5 you still haven't slept. You know, so those are like the negative impacts of just how if what you're consuming is so negative that it ends up affecting the rest of your body because you're consuming social media for such a long period of time that you don't notice that it's keeping you awake even like past midnight and all of that. You know, sometimes maybe it could be because maybe you're going through something and you're just trying to find means to make that better, right? But most of the time we tend to just go through social media because it's just that drug that we can't get rid of, right?
But now into more khulumalo into engizibuza yani le ukuthi umzimba ne ethi siyadla then masiqeda kudla sihamba I'm sorry to say this but sihamba siyokaka, right? Sihamba siyokaka then sikhona ukurelease so that we can
load some more.
Something new, right? So now brain yona,
how do you release?
Yes, how
do you flush out the dirt? Sleep.
Yeah. Do you release or do you calm the mind down or give the mind a break?
Yeah, when you're asleep, your brain processes everything. So that's why you have dreams. It's because your brain is processing
busy
everything.
working.
So it translates whatever information you consume. Some dreams you cannot understand them, but it's basically your brain trying to translate everything into register to put out the unnecessary stuff, taking the important stuff, putting it at your
memory box,
frontal lobe or whatever, and then I think that's how the mind does it. But going back to which one is more important?
Welcome to the show.
It was your show.
Welcome to the show.
And I'm gonna speak for 15 minutes.
I told you it was
So you really can't put one over the other between the mind and the body. But I want us to go back a bit. When we were still in school, like primary and high school, besidle esikolweni angithi bekunokudla sifole line then sithole ukudla. So if you think about it, we were made to believe that we cannot learn on an
empty stomach.
Yeah, true.
And then you go to varsity where you have to survive. What you do is uzothenga ikota or uzothenga whatever hard meal so that it lasts you throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because you're attending.
Sure.
And then you'd see how tired you get after eating.
Yeah.
And you just get lazy.
Yeah.
And with the more you try to consume.
What's that drug that gets released from food? Flip. You can go, bro. You can go. It's on the tip of my tongue. But you know the drug.
Drug or hormone?
Nah, it's like a drug that gets released from food. It's on the tip of my tongue. Which
from
you can,
food, food.
From food. That's that. Like what he said. Now you become lazy after eating.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's not Midas. Itis. The itis. Yeah.
I didn't know
you
that.
didn't know that? Yeah, it's a drug that gets released after eating.
So it makes you tired.
It makes you lazy. Like
yeah.
Have you felt that?
You got. That's why I'm asking. It is only on kota.
Yeah. No, it's not just the kota, but there's those kind of foods, like high cholesterol foods. Yeah.
Okay, so you see that you grow up being taught you can't study or learn on an empty stomach, and then you get to varsity, you actually eat, but then you get lazy and you understand that you still can't study in a full stomach.
Sure.
So which one is it basically? So when you look at it from the animal kingdom, a lion when it hunts for food, it's really hungry.
Yeah.
That's likely that it's gonna get the food, like it's gonna get the prey. So if you look at it now back to our human nature, what I've realized from experimenting with fasting is that we are more focused when we are hungry.
Okay.
Just like the lion.
Sure.
We are good hunters when we are hungry, whether it's getting something done
so
and rewarding yourself with food. Starving yourself, getting the task at hand done with, so that you can be able to eat
reward yourself.
Dish that reward, and you can get it more accurate. So, for me, with everything that I've just laid out, I'd say that the mind, everything seems to be starting from the mind.
Yeah.
As the example, you're gonna do 50 push-ups, you're gonna do them. Despite the condition yomzimba wakho. Yeah. So everything seems to be starting from the mind. And in this context of consuming for the body or for the mind, I'd say consuming for the mind starts before the body. Okay. Though they work together, but I feel like getting the mind sharp first makes things easy for the body, other than consuming for the body and expecting that the mind will function properly.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How's that village too?
No, I'm taking in everything you just said now, because especially what you were saying about like us working better on an empty stomach and rewarding yourself after like having done whatever task at hand.
Yeah.
Like treating food as a reward more than a necessity.
Yeah.
Because
but now, as the way Tanubiya ngakhona ukuthi sheka nje for njengabantwana abanye the way banokusho ngakhona abona mawusuka thiwa uhlala ekudeni then we walk it distance yazabaza baby basitshela ba walk it distance aya travel esikolweni then aya in an empty stomach. Then here lento ebenza ukuba khona ukupush right to make sure that they are successful.
Reward, sure.
Then it was rewarding at the end of the day, right? But now masingathi siya check as much as it rewarding yazi ukuthi beba walk a distance ekangaka bangadlanga. So during that time azange ube nema effect after effect.
No, not at all. Well, I don't know. I can't say not at all.
What kind of after effects you mean?
After effect, as
mean like from all that walking and stuff?
Ipod, right? The mind is in a stable enough to say push. Try to ignore that you're hungry, right? Focus on the task. But now the after effect of pushing, try to ignore this part. What's happening with the after effect?
I think you're just strengthening your mind, bro. Because think about how monks do it. Monks can go days without eating. And look at Mahatma Gandhi, for instance, his hunger strike. When he went days just not eating. You know, that's all here. You know, even though you can feel that, okay, now I'm losing all the energy that was stored. Now you basically just burning stored energy now. You know, you're not burning energy that you just put in, like food that you just ate. You know, so I feel like if your brain can still tell you that no, you're fine, then you're still capable. I don't think there's an after effect.
Yazi why ngibuza kanjalo. So kunalento le kumchita wafasta isikhathi esibhali. Then wafika isikhathi sokuthi nawe uyadla. As much as bega positive la, but the body reacted. Uthe seke makadla wabuyisa.
Here's the thing, from experimenting with fasting, I've noticed that after fasting for long periods, you shouldn't just straight up go for food.
Yeah,
obviously your body is gonna reject that because it's hard food.
Solid.
So what you start with is water. Throughout your fast, what you do is drink water or your tea or your
liquids,
whatever. Yeah, your liquids. And then when you transition into
solids,
you don't eat because you are hungry, but you eat so that there's something in your stomach. So what's advisable is just use a small bowl to eat, and then you consume that. For instance, with intermittent fasting, you fast for that 6 hours. There's a lot of periods, but let's say you fast for 16 hours and you eat within the 8. So if you fast for 16 hours and you eat within the 8, what you do in that 8, you can have as many meals as you want, but you start small. You can have all your 3 meals in that 8 hour period. So you start with your breakfast, your soft food, and then you go to what you eat for lunch, something a bit hard or something in the middle, and then when you about to start your fast, and then you make sure that you finish off with the hard food. So it's a matter of transitioning your body to understand what's coming in. So it's like preparing your body.
Oh, yes. By the way, bengakhona sokungathi mina bengibheke in this way ne ukuthi now lezi zinto lezi as much as zithu, but now mawathe separate ukhona ukubona ukuthi as much as ukhona ukuthi ucontrol umzimba ngomqondo, but nayo le ine reaction yayo. Uyabona, and i reaction akusiyinto ongakhona uyi-ignore, because as much as ukhona ukuthi uyenze yonke lento lena, remember umzimba wethu react ngokufana.
Sure.
Right. So munye that's why uba nama after effects with as much as if noma kuthiwa ngenza kanjani mase kabuye la uthi wenze so umzimba uyakhona ukukhombisa ukuthi I'm in control also. Right, as much as you're trying to control me using your brain, but I'm also in control. That's why I can react like this. So isn't this ganjalo ukuthi as usho ukuthi everything starts here, but you should not forget the body. Now it has its own control. Then maybe we find a way yokuthi now somehow we balance. While you balancing this, while you focus on whatever you want to focus on.
Yeah. So there's a book. I've never really read it. It's titled The Black Science. So there's a chapter there. I just read that chapter. Someone recommended that chapter for me. It's about fasting as well. Yeah. So in that book, they are recommending that an adult after the age of 21, they should be only eating once every 3 days.
An adult?
Yeah.
What's the
after
reason?
21. That's how our bodies were made, to eat after each and every 3 days. Like your body can last up to that. That's a healthy way of maintaining your body.
Your body.
Yeah.
But now, my question is, if that's how our bodies are supposed to be treated, right?
Yeah.
Who then said, oh no, this is actually how our bodies are supposed to be treated? You know what I mean? Like, because
eat
from birth,
this amount of food.
Yeah.
Yeah, like from birth, that's when a kid is supposed to eat. So that's why they are saying after the age of 21, they call it a 7-year fast. So from 21 up until 28, I think.
That's how you eat.
You should be eating that way. Like, you'll decide after that 7 years if you still want to go back and eat 3 times a day, or you'll just continue doing what you do.
Yeah.
But most people who've tried fasting that way never go back because they notice some things with their productivity, how they maintain their body weight, some of the diseases they get immune to them. So
I'm assuming on that 3rd day, it's a heavy meal, right?
Yeah.
Something that will last you.
Yeah, or on that 3rd day, you eat normally. You eat your 3 times. Times a day, like normally.
So on the 3rd day, you basically eat your breakfast, lunch, and supper.
And it's not like you eat like massive food so that you're preparing your
for the next 3 days.
No, it's just eating normally, just like any other day, and then.
That's why I was asking if it's a heavy meal, because I thought it's just one meal, and then another 3 days, and then one meal. But on that 3rd day, every 3rd day, you basically have all your meals.
You should check that book out, specifically that chapter. You don't need to read the entire book. You just go, I think it's called the 7-year fasting or whatever.
The chapter.
Yeah. So you just look into that.
No, definitely.
So there's something I wanted to say, but now I've lost my
train.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What was it about? Related to?
Consuming. It's controversial.
What we consume, like media-wise?
The way we consume, like food. I think it involves some type of marketing in a way. It has some business in it. Because now we are encouraged to eat 3 times a day, snacks in between.
No, definitely.
So meaning we have to buy.
I definitely do think it's propaganda. It's from somewhere. It's brainwashing.
So when you read chapters like the books that I'm telling you about, you get to see Uguti. Oh, which one is it, guys?
Yeah, it's brainwashing.
But you see Uguti, the benefits involved in it. For instance, just fasting for 16 hours a day, you look at the benefits and you see that you actually have more energy than when you eat like normally.
Yeah, you can even control your weight. Because I can tell you that when I was doing intermittent fasting, right, I would have my first meal at 12 afternoon. That's my lunch. And then at 6 I have my supper. I'm done. Food 12 Start again. 12 have my lunch. 6 have my supper. Tomorrow again.
And you just get to use
you get used to it. At some point, it's muscle memory. I was like, breakfast. It's muscle memory.
Continue with it.
And as the way you mentioned with marketing, breakfast bas introduce kuyo so that also udle breakfast yekwenza ulambe uthi ufuna lunch. Yeah, what? Then about hungry too much for whatever.
See, this for kids, these sweet cereals that have a lot of cholesterol,
saturated sugars.
Yeah, so you'll want to nibble on something after that, and then you get extremely hungry so that you can eat the next thing, your lunch, which is maybe a sandwich you bought somewhere or like those type of things.
Yeah.
So you get to see with value.
I mean, especially breakfast. That one, I think it was marketed in a way with it. It's like it's for a specific time of the day, you know. So it's like in the mornings you should have cereal. So we'll make cereal for you. You know. Yeah. And now every morning when you go to the shops, like, I have to get cereal for the mornings. So already you programmed. I have to think about breakfast. Like when I started having that intermittent fasting year 12 and 6, we stopped buying breakfast. We didn't have cereal, didn't have milk, things that required in easing to the 16. We stopped buying them because we didn't see the need to have stuff we're not eating, and that's where it starts. In your cupboards, you see, if you find what you're looking for, then it's obviously gonna drive you to have it, right? But if it's not in the cupboard, then you're not gonna feel. It's gonna be like, fuck, okay, it sucks that I don't have Kellogg's in my cupboard, but it's okay. And then a week down the line, it's like, dude, I'm not even looking for Kellogg's anymore.
Yeah.
I can just wait until lunch. Lunch, I have my eggs and bread and bacon, whatever the case is. But you've already conditioned your mind to not think about breakfast. So the next time you do your groceries, you don't even walk through the aisle of cereal because
Sure.
you know. So it's just training your mind, as you were saying at some point, that it's just reprogramming your mind, because we get fed all these things, you know, but it doesn't mean that you have to abide by them. You can always just rewrite the narrative and just live a life that you find suitable for you. It doesn't have to be very on paper. Now you follow this to the T with the breakfast, lunch, supper, and you have it in these periods.
So you see, now it goes back to what I was saying, that everything starts in the mind. Whatever you're gonna consume for your body, it starts in the mind as well. As you're saying, Guti, they're gonna tell you, Guti, this is the way you should be doing things. So now it's like you should stand guard at the door of your mind.
Yeah,
you should understand, Guti. Information is gonna come, and most especially now that we are in a digital age, we get information everywhere. We get fed all this information, and you're scrolling through Facebook. That content that you're consuming for your brain, you're scrolling through TikTok. That's content that's gonna stick in your brain in a way. So one thing that you should always be aware of is that information is gonna come, but you should understand how it's gonna affect you. You should understand, like Glenn Dobo in one of our previous episodes, in each and every situation that you find yourself where there's information that's coming, you shouldn't focus on always opposing it or fighting it, or just take into Zoxiza. And just
disregard the rest. I think that was an interesting conversation, because it's like we've uncovered stuff we hardly like. Some of the stuff we just spoke about, it's stuff I never really thought of. You know, but when you sit down and actually think about some of these things, you can notice that like things aren't always as they seem. You know, things aren't always as they seem, man. And like, just based on the question I was asking earlier, I think we've all just uncovered that you can't have one greater than the other, you know. But what is of most importance is obviously the mind, but they have to be obviously in sync. But the mind obviously is the gateway to everything else. You know, what gets thrown into your head, or what you consume rather, will affect your body as well. You know, but at the end of the day, they should be in balance. They should be in balance, otherwise there will be disparities in between. I think those are my last words.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have any last words.
I've said mine.
You said
I'm good as well.
Alright, and I think, as we always say, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take care of your pockets. This is the Empty Street Podcast, and we're signing out.